This here is a 1970 Harley Davidson Sportster XLCH. It's a Kickstart only model. It originally had this weird boat tail on it when it came from the factory. This is a 55-year-old bike at this point, and other than the modified seat, this is all original as far as I can tell. This one was my father's. He owned this for about 54 years. He loved this thing. To own a Harley for him was a big deal. And now that I have it, I'm in charge of this thing. I feel like I am just shepherding it into the future. It's a gorgeous color, this green. I mean, I grew up looking at this bike, and green just happens to be my favorite color. I love modifying bikes, customizing bikes. As you can see over here in this other corner of the garage, we've got two custom bikes, one in progress and one finished. This is my little Grom Reaper. This is a full custom, full frame, full like front end, gas tank, seat, fender, everything made by me. So I love doing that sort of stuff. And Harleys, of course, are a commonly customized bike. Not this one. This one, for sentimental reasons, I'm not going to touch this. I do want to maintain it to a high level though. And I realize that a bike, any vehicle that's 50 years old, it's going to have, at the very least, some dry rot on a lot of the rubber. And so I'm going to be going through this bike and checking all this stuff to make sure, see what needs to be updated. I mean, we may end up redoing the wiring on this at some point. The other day when I was looking at some of these oil return lines down here, these rubber lines here that go up to the oil tank and whatnot, they look like they had some cracking on them, so I'm going to need to replace those. I tried to look up the part numbers and see if I could find replacement lines for that, like OEM sort of stuff, and I could not find anything. I don't know if but I know people replace those all the time, and I don't know if they're just using standard hose from the auto parts store to do that, or if these are specially molded in any way that they have special bends in them from the factory, or are they just straight hose? So for those guys that know, please let me know in the comments. And there was a battery cover here at some point, and I don't know what happened to it. It's gone now. So I'm going to need to make a cover for this at some point, and that will probably be the only custom-like thing on this bike. My own personal touch on that. Otherwise, I'm not really trying to modify this bike in any way. I have done some work on this recently. I put out a couple videos on redoing the clutch. We got all new clutch plates and stuff in there, and because the clutch was slipping at one point when I tried to ride it a couple years ago. Then I also replaced a little check valve on the oil pump so that hopefully it won't spit oil onto the floor anymore. Some of the projects I expect to be doing on this bike are going to be changing out some of the rubber on here, changing the engine oil, changing the transmission oil, checking the oil filter. There's supposed to be an oil filter on this. I'm not sure about that. It's yet to be seen, but according to the service manual, there's supposed to be one. Maybe new brake pads, etc. These are all drum brakes, front and back on this bike. The fork fluid should probably be changed as well. So some basic maintenance. And so today I'd like to try and get this thing started. It has not run in a while, in a couple of years. So like I said, this is a Kickstart only bike. There is no electric starter on this at all. All right, so before I even attempt to start this thing, I'm going to check our oil level in here. It has been sitting for a while. The last time we tried to start it, this thing was low on oil. There should be two marks on here, right? It looks like there's a mark up here and a mark down there. This seems way up, but I guess, yeah, there's a little groove there. So it should be between these marks, and if, according to the manual, if it gets below this mark, you're supposed to add a quart. So I think it's pretty low at the moment. I tilt the bike upright and try and get a good reading on this thing. So yeah, it's right down at the low level, so we'll definitely add some more oil. All right, so when we go to start it up, I'll expect it to puke some oil out onto the ground because it's probably got all that oil that was up here. It's got about an extra quart down in the crankcase right now. We'll plan for that. I'm going to go ahead and add an extra quart up here, and then in preparation for getting this thing running, and then we'll just expect to get a quart or so out of the crankcase. All right, and I'm putting 20W50 in here. That is what I recall my father running in here. All right, and I'm also going to leave this cap loose because when it does go to crank, it sometimes will pop that thing off of there. So for right now, I'm just going to stick this guy a little pan underneath here to catch. Where is it? Up here. To try and catch that oil when it pops out. All right, if we need to, we'll pull this air filter off and we'll squirt gas directly into the carb. But I'm gonna try it without doing that. Turn our gas on here. We'll pull the choke out here. Stick in our key. We'll give it a few turns here. I'm gonna pull this off and put some gas in there. All right, I'll go ahead, squirt some gas in here. Getting the oil out. Not yet. Now I grew up being told that that was the best sound in the world, basically. The best sound an engine can make. And I don't entirely disagree. There's definitely something nostalgic for me for that with that sound. And it does sound pretty awesome. And it's very unique. That lump of an air-cooled Harley, due to the way that the timing and whatnot is on this engine, the way how it fires, it's definitely unique and it's pretty cool. All right, well, we didn't get any oil blowing out the bottom here, which was kind of unexpected, really. I thought there'd be some that came out. All right, so our tire pressure is supposed to be 24 in the front and 30 in the back.